There we go. Hey, everybody. My name is Shelley Jo Wallstrom. I am a certified hypnotherapist and a recovery and nutrition coach. I specialize in amino acids. In fact, I own Shelley Jo Hypno Aminos Nutrition. This happens to be one of them, and this is called GABA Chill, like take a chill pill. And what they do is they help your neurotransmitters of your brain. So they help you feel better when your neurotransmitters aren't working right. Anxiety, depression, lack of energy, sleep, addictions, cravings, weight gain, they all become true. And I wanted to share, I received a phone call today that really touched my heart and actually made me cry. I got into learning about amino acids because of my daughter. I have a daughter who's a recovering addict from drugs and alcohol, and that started this journey. And when I saw how powerful what I was learning and how it could help so many people, I felt very passionate. And that phone call today made it so that I want these two ladies here to share their story, because as you hear what they have to say, you're going to see why I am so strong and passionate about this message of how, balancing your brain with amino acids and nutrition. And I do hypnotherapy for thoughts. Their stories are powerful. And because that each story are unique, I asked them if I could please let them have them share their stories. So I have Donna Connor here and her daughter Kailee Nelson, and I'm just going to let them tell their story because it's powerful and it touched my heart. So go ahead, Donna. You start. You tell your story.
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad that you reached out to do this. I may cry. That's what I do, and these are tender stories. They've changed our lives. They've made huge impacts on us. So my daughter actually met you first at a conference and in one city up in Idaho. And she told me about that I should go to this next conference and you were going to be speaking at. And she goes, you have to go to this class. You have to go. I'm like, okay. So I went in and I listened to you tell your story about your daughter and the things that you have seen the amino acids help. And I have been overweight. I have this twitch that goes like this and keeps putting food in my mouth. And so I went to your class and I was really impressed with what it could do and what you told us about, because you also talked about, how it helps your brain function and heal, but it also talked about how it can help your body lose weight. Mm-hmm. And that was my key thing for that. I met you on December 1st of 2018. Today is May 22nd. I started taking the amino acids that day because I bought them on site at the conference. Right. Mm-hmm. I started, you and I had a consultation, which was so helpful and so informative. It taught me how much I needed to take of each, what I was trying to accomplish. And I appreciated you saying, start off slow, get one going, make sure it's functioning the way you want it to, and you're actually seeing those results. Mm-hmm. And since that day, I have been consistent. I mean, I don't miss. I have 5 alarms on my phone every single day, take my pills. And since then, I've lost 55 pounds as of today. I just hit my 55-pound mark on that.
That is so awesome.
It's been a huge blessing and it has been very helpful. But in addition to that, not just the weight loss, huge. I don't have joint pain anymore. Yeah. I feel wonderful. I've had I've had a spinal fusion and a back surgery in the last 3 years. And honestly, I feel great. I feel strong. There's things I can do that I couldn't do before because I had so much weight on me. And so this has been huge. But in addition to that, honestly, I have felt the difference in the amino acids helping me with my mood swings, my orneriness. Literally the chill pill, I take 5 a day. And my kids know when I haven't taken it, and they're like, isn't your alarm supposed to be going off for a chill pill? And it does. It makes a difference, and you can see it. And, you talk about take it, and if you don't see results in 20 minutes, take another one. I know exactly from fine-tuning that month of December, I really fine-tuned how many of each that I need to take to help me personally and what my body reacts to. Mm-hmm. And it's been phenomenal. I have seen so many changes in my brain function, and I'm not tired and exhausted anymore. And so I can't say enough. My biggest thing, if you're going to take them, be consistent. You can't take one here and there and say, oh, it doesn't work. Just like anything else, you've got to take it a couple weeks before it kicks in. And I've learned that. And my sister's story, she got some for her daughter, but she wasn't consistent with it. And so she kind of put it in the shelf and hasn't worried about it. Well, she's gotten to a point where her daughter really, really needs help. And I said, take 2 weeks, be consistent with it. And guess what? She's seeing a difference finally because she's been consistent. And that's my biggest message is do this, but be consistent and you will see a difference. So that's my story.
I love it. And what you just said makes such a difference, Donna, and that's why I really tell the clients is you've got to be consistent. You haven't, when people are struggling, they haven't struggled for just a day or so. For a lot of people, it's been years, and you can't expect to get better overnight. They're not magic. They're not magic pills. Now, the outcome, I literally think that they're a miracle. But you still have to take them. Right. And it will take some time. For some people, it may take a lot longer than they realize because they felt so bad for so long. And it will take some time to get those neurotransmitters to rebuild. So what you say is really, really important. And I am so proud of you, Donna, because wow, what a difference. It's been quite the journey. I did want to say, first of all, I'm going to give my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe, and I do not diagnose. And I recommend. And everybody gets to decide. It's your body. You get to decide to take them. And my job is to guide you the very best possible so that you can learn exactly how to use them. But your story, it's so exciting. And in and of itself, Donna, your story is amazing.
Thank you.
And the call today, though, made me cry. And that is because it is Kailee Nelson's story. And Kailee is Donna's daughter. How old are you, Kailee? 20?
I just turned 24.
24 years old. And I'm gonna let you tell your story. And I'm sorry to remember you back in Idaho. That was a long time ago. So it was good that you got your mom to listen. But your story is really powerful. And I didn't understand how powerful it was until I got this phone call today. And so, Kailee, I want you to please tell your story because I feel like it's going to reach the people who are looking for the same answers that you found.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. And it's kind of funny. It's one of those things where I feel like some of the best things in life, they touch you a little bit at a time before you fully recognize them. So it was the Pocatello Energy Healing Conference put on by Tammy Ward Anderson that I went to that kind of first got me started in all of this. And it's kind of what got me to that conference. And then I had my mom go, and she was the one who ended up referring me to you to actually start taking these aminos. But the story starts a lot further back. Starts back at the beginning of 2018. And beginning of 2018, I was diagnosed with clinical depression, anxiety, and OCD. And there were some really hard months. I was going to therapy, I was seeing a psychiatrist, and I was still really, really struggling. And I don't think anyone truly knew how bad it was, even my own husband. And it was a really dark time. It was a really dark time, and I just felt like I was sinking further and further into a hole, no matter how much outreach I had from family, friends. It kind of didn't matter. I was just sinking into a darker and darker place until finally on May 30th, 2018, I attempted suicide and tried to take my own life. And if it weren't for my angel husband, who recognized some of the signs and had the foresight to call the police and send paramedics, I probably wouldn't be here today. And that moment was kind of pivotal. In a way, I kind of did die that day. but in the best way possible, because it started one of the most incredible journeys of healing that I am still on. And, I kind of feel like where I'm at now is still just the beginning chapter. I spent that next week at a behavioral health center here in Idaho, and I was kind of bitter at first. Didn't really want to do anything, just was kind of like, why am I here? And I know that it was really hard on a lot of people, especially because it was kind of, no one really saw it coming, I don't think. And I know my family came up and visited me, and I know it was really hard for my mom, especially for her to see me like that. But, all my family and friends did their best to stand by me and support me in every way that they could. And when I got out, I was given some great resources. When I did finally decide that, I did want to try, I did want to have some hope, I kind of started paying a little more attention here and there and trying to get the help that I needed. Even though I may not have been super involved in all of the group aspects, I found the things that helped me in order to move on and get out. And one of the most profound pieces of advice that I received during my time there was from my assigned counselor. And it's something that has kind of guided me throughout all of this journey. And he said, you don't get to Walmart by getting in the car and going in a straight line, driving through this apartment complex, this business, that person's house, and then end up in their parking lot. You have to follow the road before you. You have to follow the signs. You have to stop at each stoplight. Sometimes you have to take some left and right turns, and you're not always going to have the end goal right in sight. But if you follow that road, you are eventually going to get where you need to be. Mm-hmm. And so I was released and kind of started another almost year journey that's leading us up to this point where I was meeting with a counselor who is an angel in disguise. I'm pretty sure that she is going to be among the highest of angels after this life, because she has just helped me in so many ways to cope and learn. And her, along with my psychiatrist, have been such a great team. And I owe a lot of where I'm at to them. But there was always something missing, because even as I was trying to get back into the swing of things, back into real life, so to speak, I was still struggling. I was still having bad days, and not just it's a bad day, but the very depressed, I can't get out of bed for a week in a row, I haven't showered in 2 weeks kind of bad days. Yeah. And I was still pushing forward. I think at one point I was taking close to 15, 20 pills a day. I was 23, 24. And that, I did not want to live my life like that. I mean, this is going to sound kind of bad, but old people take that many pills a day. Not a 20. I'm not an old person. I should be healthy and active and wanting to go out and do things and free to do so, not lying in bed feeling miserable. And so, I kept pushing. And one of my friends mentioned this conference they had heard about, and I decided to go with her. We got tickets, and that started this journey. I went, I don't think I actually attended your class, but I heard about it. And I was like, this is something my mom would really enjoy. And so I referred her, and then she later referred me because I kept an interest, and anytime there were conferences up here in Idaho, I wanted to go. Well, there was one in Logan, and I managed to get some free tickets to it and dragged one of my best friends, who was a sweetheart, even though it was totally not her thing. She was to make the 3-hour drive down to Logan with me, and went to your class, talked to you. You, at that point, already had a fairly established relationship with my mom and kind of knew about the success that she was having. And I had told my psychiatrist about this, and she said, you know what? It's your body, and I might not know a ton about it, but I'm willing to help you do it if this is what you want to do. And she was amazing in that regard. So I started with aminos, and just like my mom has mentioned, it was a one at a time thing. You gave me the consult. We kind of talked about different dosages, what would work well, and how it would affect what medicines I was already taking, because that was kind of a worry. Some of these aminos do target serotonin receptors, and that's huge for 90% of the medications I was taking at the time. And it was from there that I really started to see results. I had been feeling better with some of the depression, but I was still having some pretty severe panic attacks that would keep me from going to classes. I'm a college student. They would keep me from going to classes, from going to work, and they would basically just shut me down for the rest of the day if I had one. So after that conference, I started taking GABA, and from that day, and that was a couple months ago, I haven't had a single panic attack since I started taking the GABA. And no combination of medication that I had been given by any doctor or psychiatrist had done that yet. Every single time they're like, well, we could try this. I don't really know. But the GABA hit it. And, you know, I would take one, and if I was still feeling jittery, I'd take another one, and I would do great. And, I mean, the closest I've come to a panic attack was a few weeks ago, and I could definitely feel it ramping up. And so I took one. I took another one, waited a little bit. I was still kind of there on edge. I used some of the coping skills that I had learned in counseling, took one more GABA, and within the hour, I was back to normal. I had averted a panic attack when I'd been right there on the edge, and that is something I'd never done before. And so my psychiatrist was invited to go to the Idaho conference where you recently spoke, and she graciously, on her own time, went and learned more about the aminos and has continued to help me work through this and kind of phase in one amino at a time. And it has worked miracles. And I'm down from the 15, 20 pills a day to a half dose of a single pill. And today in my follow-up, my monthly follow-up with my psychiatrist, we did a rating test. And last month, when I'd still been on about 90% of the medications and only one, maybe two aminos, I rated 13s on depression and anxiety and suicidal ideation. Today, taking only a half dose of a single medication and about half of the aminos that I plan to be on by the time everything's said and done, I rated it a 6 on both.
Wow.
So this has been a huge journey. And like I say, it's just the first chapter, because I definitely still have down days. There are still weeks where it is a struggle to get out and it's a struggle to shower, but I have a lot more hope, especially in light of other things going on in my life. You know, I have every reason to be more stressed, not less. And yet here I am, less medicated and feeling wonderful. I love knowing that my body is going to not be a prisoner to the chemicals and medication, and that I can be going down a more natural path that is going to be working with my body's chemistry rather than controlling it. And, you know, my biggest thing is just, you know, friends and family and anyone out there who's going to see this, please know that there is hope, even if you can't see it. And even if it takes months, years, decades, hang in there, because there are so many people who are ready and willing and wanting to help you. If you keep pushing forward, you will find your angels. I found mine in counselors and my psychiatrist, and now here in Shelly and her aminos, they have worked wonders and miracles.
Wow. Oh, that warms my heart, Kailee. When I called you today, all I could do is cry, because I didn't know you were going through such a hard time. I mean, I get clients and I understand anxiety and depression, but I didn't hear the full story. So when your mom called me today and told me that, I broke down, because this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Your story is why I'm doing this, because it gives hope. My daughter had anxiety at age 6 years old, and had I known about amino acids at that time, I don't feel like she would have self-medicated with drugs and alcohol. And I want to help so that other people don't have to follow down that journey. and that they can have hope, that there's healing and hope. You feed your brain and you change your life.
Absolutely.
You feed your brain with amino acids and what you eat, and those change your life. And that's why both of your stories has touched my heart. I mean, Donna, I was so excited that you could lose weight, because it was like, yes, you're like my poster child, right? Because they work, and they really do work when you follow and you listen. And that's why it's really important to get a consultation and understand why you take what and when. And Kailee, what you said is super important. You want to make sure that they work together with your meds, and that they don't cause a problem with your meds, because they can, as you saw with your psychiatrist, that you can do both of them if you understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome for me, enlightening for me to have your psychiatrist in my class, and for her to come afterwards and to talk to me, and to be really, really interested in how the amino acids work and why they work. What a great psychiatrist she is, because she said to me, I don't want to push the drugs, and she understands that a lot of people need them, but her whole purpose is to figure out how to get them off of them. And it was so enlightening to have a conversation with her, for her to see that, oh my gosh, there are answers, and they come in different ways. They come in simple ways. I'm going to hurry and grab these really fast, because now I'm excited. I thought I was going to put them on here, but I want to share, missing one of them, what we've been talking about. So you have glutamine, and that helps with sugar cravings. It helps to feed your brain, right? So craving be gone. Then you've got tryptophan, positive sleep. It helps with the serotonin. Then you've got your 5-HTP, which is positive mind, and that helps with the anxiety and the depression, and keeps your mind, your thoughts back in order. And then you have DLPA, and that's your happy. Happy, endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. And I have one more, and I don't know where the bottle is, but anyway, it's tyrosine, and it's energy booster. So it's hidden each of those neurotransmitters. And like I said, the last one is GABA. And Kailee, what you said is so powerful, that it takes you from feeling so uptight, overstressed, can't come down, panicky, to just being able to breathe, right?
Yeah.
And ladies, I want to thank you so much, because this is why I do what I do. When I go speak at the energy healing conferences or any other conferences, and I talk to people and I touch their lives and let them know that you can overcome addiction, you can overcome weight gain, and you can overcome anxiety and depression. You can reduce those symptoms. I'm not saying that this is the only answer. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, but what I've seen with these, they're not magic, but boy, they bring miracles.
They do. And we're very, very grateful that you're willing to share your story, because it's personal, and your daughter's willing to let you share her story, in these classes. It made a huge impact on me. I know other people that have been in your classes that I've spoken with, it's made a huge impact on them. And, one other thing I wanted to bring up too, the difference between medications and the amino acids that work naturally with your body. Sweet Kailee, she had epilepsy when she was a kid and grew out of it, but the medication she's been on the last year has triggered her epilepsy again. And so my hope is, we don't know what the future is going to hold, but my hope is that eventually, because she's been able to get off of these medications and be on these that are natural, that eventually someday she'll be able to get off the medication for the epilepsy again. Hoping and praying it'll be something that'll go into remission again. But it's heartbreaking to know that you're already stressed, anxiety, depressed, suffering with OCD, and then we're going to add seizures on a regular basis to it because of the medication that's sometimes worse than the problem. That's been heartbreaking to watch everything come down on her so quickly all at once, but she's been awesome and a trooper through this. But I'm really excited. I actually see light at the end of the tunnel for this. So.
Yeah, I do. And then my goal is to get the word out. I'm doing everything I can to spread this word that these will help, and that You know, the great thing about amino acids is if you need them, you're going to feel a difference within 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're inexpensive. So you're not talking things that are going to cost you a ton of money. They're manageable and they're affordable. And that, I just want to spread the word. You guys are like I said, you're like my poster child. My poster children. This is what you're supposed to do. And if you do what I tell you, and you follow and you listen to your doctor, they work.
Yep.
There is answers and healing and hope, and there are answers. If any one of you out there are struggling, please get a hold of me. You can find me. My website is www.hypnoaminos.com. You can look me up on my Facebook page, which is Shelly Jo Hypnoaminos. You can email me at shellyjohypno@gmail.com. And eventually you'll be able to visit with me because my phone number is going to be in there somewhere, but I'm not going to give it to you over this video. But just get a hold of me. We can do a personal consultation and get you on that path to feeling better because it brings optimal health.
Yep.
And that's my message. Ladies, I love you. Thank you so much for sharing me. It warms my heart. I can say, Donna, that phone call today, you made my day. So, and Kaylee, talking to you, you made me cry. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just happy. Thanks, ladies. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for all you.
Pause.